At the dinner table, Claire Morgan's sister lifted her wine glass and laughed. "Clear as daylight," she said. Then she tilted her head. "So, where's your husband? Your kids?" She paused, smiling. "Oh, right. You don't have any." The laughter that followed was soft but sharp. Their parents smiled like it was harmless teasing. Claire's fork froze midair. 4 years, she had paid their bills, saved their home, and kept them afloat. Now she was the joke. She slowly placed her spoon down and met her sister's eyes. "Where's your money?" she asked calmly. "Oh, right. I've been supporting you." The silence that followed didn't end the night. It started everything. Claire Morgan was 32, a UX researcher living alone in Seattle's Capitol Hill. From the outside, her life looked orderly. A clean apartment. A steady job. Quiet mornings with coffee by the window. But half of her paycheck vanished every month into the same place, her family. Her mother, Helen, retired early after heart surgery. Her father, Richard, once taught economics but now waited endlessly for consulting calls that never came. And then there was her sister, Ava, 4 years younger, charming, adored, and always in need. "Just this once," Ava's texts always began. Claire had believed helping meant love. Every Sunday, Claire drove an hour south to Tacoma for family dinner. Helen insisted it was tradition. Roast chicken, mashed potatoes, something sweet afterward. The house smelled the same as it always had, coffee and old wood polish. The photos on the wall never changed. Ava at her pageant. Richard shaking hands with important men. Helen in her nurse's uniform. Claire appeared only at the edges, half-cropped, always arriving late from work. She never complained. She brought wine. She cleaned dishes. When dinner ended, Richard would pat her shoulder and say, "Thanks for keeping things steady," like she was a coworker, not a daughter. On the drive back to Seattle, Claire often argued with herself. Families are messy, she'd think. They need each other. But some nights, she gripped the steering wheel so tightly her hands ached. She knew the truth. It wasn't love keeping her tied to them. It was guilt, the kind she'd been raised on. That was why she didn't expect anything different from that Sunday dinner. She thought it would be polite smiles and quiet tension, like always. But the air that night felt sharp, heavy, waiting. Even the sound of silverware felt too loud. The table looked the same, chicken steaming, rolls in a basket, wine glowing amber. Helen talked excitedly about Ava's latest fashion event. "A designer party downtown," she said proudly. Richard nodded. "Great exposure," he added. Claire smiled politely, her chest tight. Exposure didn't pay rent. Pride didn't erase the thousands she had sent to keep Ava's credit score alive. Ava leaned back, scrolling her phone. Then she laughed. "You should come sometime, Claire," she said. "Maybe you'd finally meet someone." She looked up, eyes sharp. "Where's your husband and kids anyway?" For a moment, no one moved. Then Helen laughed softly. "Don't tease your sister," she said, though her smile lingered too long. Richard chuckled. "She's just joking." Claire felt the room narrow. The smells, the clock ticking, the clink of cutlery blurred together. Years of sacrifice flashed through her mind. Holidays worked, vacations skipped, debts paid. Ava tilted her head. "I mean, you're doing fine, right? That tech job. Screens and surveys." Her voice was sweet but cruel. "You'd be happier with a real life." Something inside Claire cracked, quietly and completely. She set her spoon down. Her voice came out calm. "Where's your money, Ava?" she asked. Ava blinked. "Excuse me." "You heard me," Claire said. "I've been supporting you. Until today." The room went silent. Helen's hand froze midair. Richard's eyes darted between them. Ava stared, stunned. "I'm done," Claire said. No one interrupted her. The ticking wall clock filled the space. That silence wasn't peace. It was an ending. And Claire knew, as she drove back to Seattle that night, she would never go back to the way things were. In her apartment, Claire kicked off her shoes and went straight to her desk. Bills and receipts sat in a neat stack, years of quiet responsibility. She opened her laptop and her bank account. Line after line stared back at her. Tuition, mortgage payments, medication, repairs, furniture. Over $80,000 in 7 years. Her chest tightened. She worked in fintech, helping others manage money, while her own life quietly drained away. Her cursor hovered over the recurring transfer to her parents. "Are you sure you want to cancel?" the screen asked. She clicked yes. One click. A severed cord. She exhaled for the first time in years. The next morning, her phone buzzed non-stop. "Sweetheart," Helen said in a voicemail, voice trembling. "The mortgage didn't go through." Richard texted. "You forgot the transfer." Ava messaged, "Rent's due. Can you Venmo me?" Claire read everything and set the phone down. By evening, the messages turned desperate. Then angry. "You owe us. You're being dramatic." She saved every message. Not out of spite. Out of instinct. When the final text came, "Come home Sunday. We need to talk." Claire stared at the screen calmly. "Fine," she whispered. "Let's talk." Sunday was gray and cold. The drive to Tacoma felt different. No guilt. No rehearsed apologies. Just clarity. The house looked unchanged. Peeling paint, flickering porch light. Inside, tension hung heavy. Helen set the table without looking up. Richard sat stiffly. Ava leaned against the counter, pretending not to care. "We can't live like this," Helen said quickly. "The bills." Richard added sharply, "This family depends on you." Claire met his eyes. "That's the problem," she said. "It stopped being help when it became expected." Helen gasped. "You're being cruel." Claire shook her head bitterly. "I'm being honest. Someone found a backbone." Claire turned to her. "You mock me for not having a family," she said, "but you've lived off me like I'm your parent." Ava snapped. "You think you're better than us?" "No," Claire replied. "I think I'm done." Richard slammed the table. "Watch your tone." Claire didn't flinch. "Respect isn't demanded," she said. "It's earned." The room felt like it might break. Ava hissed, "Without us, you're nothing." Claire smiled faintly. "That's where you're wrong." Claire reached into her bag and placed a thick folder on the table. "What's that?" Richard demanded. "Records," she said. "Every payment I've made. Over $84,000. Ava scoffed. "You're keeping score?" "I'm keeping proof." Claire slid another paper forward. "This is the home equity loan you took out using my name." Richard's face drained of color. "That's ridiculous." "The bank disagrees," Claire said calmly. "Forgery. Identity theft." Helen clutched her chest. "You involved outsiders?" "I involved a lawyer," Claire replied. "Because you crossed a line." Richard leaned forward. "You're threatening us?" "No," Claire said. "I'm giving you a timeline. 30 days to remove my name and repay what you owe." Ava whispered, "You wouldn't." Claire met her gaze. "Try me." Helen cried softly. "We did it to protect the house." Claire nodded. "And you assumed I'd clean it up." "Again." Richard muttered, "We're your parents." "And I was your insurance policy," Claire said. "Not anymore." She gathered the folder and stood. "I'm saving myself." Outside, the cold air hit her face. For the first time, she felt free. 2 weeks later, Claire's lawyer called. "The bank confirmed the forgery," she said. "Your name is cleared." Claire leaned against her window, breath leaving her slowly. Years of pressure dissolved. That night, she poured a glass of wine and raised it toward the city lights. "To endings," she whispered. A few days later, she saw the Tacoma house listed for sale online. The dining room photo stopped her. She felt no triumph, only inevitability. Lives built on someone else's sacrifice always collapse eventually. Helen messaged one last time. One final dinner. "Please." Claire went for closure, not guilt. The house was bare. Boxes everywhere. No pretending this time. After the meal, Claire spoke. "I'm not cutting you off," she said. "But I won't save you any more." No one argued. Silence settled, not hostile, just real. When Claire left, she didn't look back. Driving north, the cold wind rushed through her open window. Her future finally felt like her own. In the weeks that followed, Claire focused on herself. She accepted a promotion. Enrolled in a night course she'd delayed for years. Her life was no longer split between their needs and her leftovers. It belonged to her. Sometimes she remembered the laughter, the silence, the line she drew. She had once believed love meant sacrifice. She learned instead that real love doesn't drain you. It doesn't demand your peace as proof. Now, when Claire watched the sun rise over Seattle, she felt calm. Saying no hadn't made her cruel. It had made her free. And for the first time, that silence truly meant peace.